What's going on, guys? I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Let's go ahead and get straight into it. We're going to be talking about auctions that are going on and have already passed, and a private deal that was really big that just went down recently, as well as just my regret in not being able to go to Card Party. A bunch of my friends had asked me if I was going to go to Card Party. I wish that I could have, but as you guys know, I am the sole provider for my family, and it's very important that I am working 24/7, saving, making money. We have some big things coming. I've talked about, the game room potentially getting moved into my garage. There is an update to that. I now think we are probably going to move entirely, which is really exciting and also very stressful that, I've only lived in this house for 4 or 5 years now, and we're already looking at something else. So maybe we'll rent this house out and just buy something else. So there could be a completely new change, maybe an entirely new kind of recording room, game room, studio space. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming, and I haven't been as consistent with my videos the last couple days because I've been relaxing and then also taking time to look for houses and figure out where we're going. And that also, before we start talking about auctions and sales that have passed in the Pokemon card market, I also want to talk about the fact that just pointed out that priorities and things change in life. Your life situation changes, and we very well may see a lot of stuff that I own on eBay being listed, going up for auction soon, because I'm gonna need to get that equity back out so that we can put it into something else. And we're also being cautious because the housing market may come down. Rates are still very high right now. But anyways, let's go ahead and let's jump right into this. But this is the biggest reason, my point is, this is the biggest reason you may see grail cards or really valuable cards go on the market and sell for maybe under market, is because people get in situations like myself right now where we need that equity back, and we're really not worried about getting even 80 or 90% of value back on the cards or items we're selling, because we need to roll that into something else entirely. So that's the kind of thing that I think could happen in the future as we see the housing market change and people's lives change, situations changing. They may want to get that equity back and put it into something else. Okay, so first off, I want to go ahead and say that there is a PSA 10 first edition Charizard, PSA 10, up on the market right now, going up for auction, authenticity guaranteed. Seller has very low feedback, kind of weird, but that's probably one of the biggest ones that I could point out. I'm going to go ahead and try and find that auction right now. Let's see if we can find that on here. Okay, let's see. PSA 10 first edition Charizard base. Okay, let's see. Let's see if it's still up here. And it may have been removed. It may have already been removed. It doesn't look like it's on here. That PSA 10 listing looks like it may have been taken down. I don't see it anywhere. I'm changing up the search criteria now. Nope, I don't see that anywhere. But what I do know we just had was a PSA 9, and I brought this up. There was a PSA 9 first edition Charizard. I probably brought this up in another video. Where is it? Did it end? Let's see. We got a lot of stuff to go over here, so bear with me, guys. But there was a PSA 9 listing, just like mine, that I just picked up for around 19,000. There is a PSA 9 listing for this card that just ended. It was a Probstein auction, and it just ended. It might have been in my watch list. Let's see if it was in my watch list. There's a PSA 9 listing that just ended, and Why won't it let me pull up my watch list? Yes, I want to see all the items that I'm watching. Annoying. Okay. I hate using eBay on my computer, honestly. I much prefer just using it on my phone. But, okay, let's see. Sorting. I'm watching a ton of stuff. Priced highest. Here we go. Okay. Okay. So this PSA 9 Charizard first edition that I just picked up not long ago for $19,000. There was one that ended at 24.2. It was a Probstein auction. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Thank goodness I found it. I don't feel like showing everything, but at the same time, I do think that you guys should at least be able to see the proof of this. But here it is. Here it is. PSA 9, first edition auction, Probstein's auction, $24,000 for that PSA 9. And it wasn't even a thick stamp. It was a thin stamp. Looks like it was around, yeah, the same cert time frame. So that was a 2.5 cert. Mine is a 2.1 cert. So very close, but yeah, that auction ended at $24,400. That is a big price jump. Even the last one we saw that was sold by Pokemon Network, they sold it for $22,000. So still, $24,000 is a big price jump. That is a big price jump. I also see. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, the Pokemon Network had one listed for $24,000, and that sold at $22,000. And then here we have a Crystal Charizard. I may have already talked about this one. but I'm gonna go over it again just because it is a big auction. That was a little while ago. That was April 25th, so that was a while ago. But I still think it's important. Because it is a PSA 10 Charizard. I picked up the same card for around $10,000. It was shown here selling in auction for $13,000 and some change. Was at $13,200. That was a lot. We're seeing some big jumps on Charizard. What do I think that means? I think that the vintage market is strong. I think that the vintage, looks like a spammer is trying to call me. I think that the vintage Grail market is strong. I think that's what it says, if anything. And I think that's a net positive for the hobby overall. All right, let's see. Go back to bids. Okay. Also, let's talk about some gold stars. Now we're gonna talk about modern alt arts here in a minute. Some of the prices that these cards are going for, but let's just go ahead, and this one's not even over. This ends in a day, but I thought it was fitting to talk about. I picked this card up for $4,200. We have the Gold Star Charizard. Another Charizard, sorry guys, we're overwhelmed by Charizard. I picked this one up for $4,200 back when the eBay vault was a thing. So 4.2. This card is now in auction currently at $4,550. And there's no more vault, so they're probably going to be paying sales tax on that unless they're in a state where they don't have to pay sales tax on that. But $4,500. Now, I don't know if mine was the last recent sale, but $4,200 maybe a month or 2 months ago to $4,500. That is a big difference in pricing. I just think I think that's kind of crazy. I do get worried that Pokemon in general right now is like at an all-time high peak bubble, both for like vintage and modern cards. It just seems a little bit ridiculous right now. And I haven't even finished my vintage goals, so it kind of sucks that we're already, our life situation is changing because I'm probably going to need to put a stop to buying high-end cards. And I'm not asking you guys to hold me accountable on this. This is my responsibility as a man and a provider, and putting my family first. But I I should not be buying anything crazy. I do want to say that the PSA 9 Gold Star Rayquaza is still on my radar, and there's now actually a good couple of PSA 9 Gold Star Rayquazas on the market right now. It seems like they're sitting right now. But that card is still on my radar, guys. The Umbreon Gold Star is still on my radar. Those are two big cards that I may pick up, but right now I really am shifting my focus on our next house and moving into a new home. So I may even end up selling my jewelry. You guys, some of you have joked about that. You need to sell your jewelry, Orion, and pick up some Grail cards, but I might actually sell my jewelry at this point to help us with a down payment on another home. But yeah, okay. Another one, Gold Star Gyarados. So this card I feel like is in the $2,800 to $3,000 area. So it's not going crazy right now. The scuff does have, the case does have a scuff on it, but Gold Star Gyarados, PSA 9, it's a modern cert, it's a 7 cert, and it's $2,850, which is pretty in line with pricing. Again, there is no eBay vault anymore, so whoever buys this card is going to have to pay the price plus the tax if they have sales tax. Absolutely epic card. I honestly had thought about putting a bid in on this card, or looks like I did. Yeah, I've been outbid. I think I put a bid of like $2,700 on this card, because to me, I just don't think you can have enough Gold Star Gyarados. It is a phenomenal card. It has a slightly lower pop report than the other Gold Stars, and it's an epic card. The Shining Gyarados, Gold Star Gyarados, it's an epic card. Okay, let's back up here. And let's see. I want to look at and see. Okay, didn't win. Here we go. Now I get to look at, get a little bit confused. So here's a modern card, the Lana's Aid from Twilight Masquerade. This is honestly one of my favorite cards. I did put a bid in on this card because I really, really liked it. But we're going to go ahead. That went for $152. That seems like it was a pretty high up there price for a card like that, in my opinion. But the set just did drop, and it is an SIR. Let's go back here. There was a first edition Poliwrath that I was looking at. I think they're worth around $900. It went for $830. Again, you guys know I'm working on my first edition base set, and I'm trying to finish Gold Stars, and I'm trying to finish my crystals, which I still need a Crystal Celebi. And ever since getting my Crystal Nidoking back, I need to replace that with another PSA 9 for a good price, or I'm so down to buy a PSA 10 Crystal Nidoking. That would be epic. If there was going to be the last card that I bought until we buy this house, or the next house whenever we buy it, yeah, this was something that we're looking, in the next year, we're going to be looking at homes all year. But it is something that is on my radar right now, and a PSA 10 Crystal Nidoking would just be the perfect card to end on a Grail note with, and be like, you know what, I'm going to pick this up, and that'll be it for a while. And I'll come back to it when I can. But yeah, I might have to take a break here. Okay. First edition Poliwrath, PSA 9. It is a new cert. It's an 84 cert. $830 was what this guy went for. Honestly, seems like a pretty good price. I feel like a lot of the PSA 9 first editions were going for well above $1,000 in the epic hype of the pandemic and the Pokemon boom. I know it's been pretty much over a year or 2 years now since then, but it's important to remember that, because I remember how expensive these cards were getting. This is a cool auction. Did I put a bid on this? I don't think I put a bid in on this, but we're gonna look at it anyways. This was a case of base set 2 theme decks. It looks like it went for $1,200. You guys know that I really like theme decks. That's what's above me right here. But this was a sealed case of 8 sealed theme decks for $1,200. For any of you that are ever thinking about theme decks or investing in buying theme decks or selling theme decks, that's, that I was looking at that, and $1,200 I think was a really good price on that. I'm probably closer to like $1,000 in terms of what I would spend on that. But that's just a cool, different kind of auction. Here we have an auction for the Miradon. You know, I told you guys that I was going to try my best to look at some modern alt arts SIRs, both from Scarlet Violet and Sword and Shield. I might be a little all over the place here, but I think this was a pretty cool auction. This was the Miradon, and it was a bundle deal for a PSA 9 and a PSA 10 for $94. The reason I was looking at this auction is because I really like Corridon and Miradon, and I really like the artwork. I'm going to zoom in on that artwork for you guys just real quick, because I do think it is a phenomenal... No, I'll just make that enlarged. I do think it is a phenomenal artwork. So we're going to go ahead and look at the card right there. The Miradon EX SIR. I think that it is a phenomenal artwork. So that was a bundle. Both cards, $94 for PSA 10 and PSA 9. I feel like that was worth it to just pay that. You get the PSA 10 and then you just sell the PSA 9. Or if you're building a binder, you put that in your binder. So that was kind of cool. Another Gold Star Jolteon, PSA 9. I picked this card up for $750 a little bit ago. It looks like this one is kind of popping off as well. This is a Probstein auction. Once again, $860. 860. So that seems like it's pretty in line with market. That was an older cert, but yeah, 860. Pretty much all the Gold Stars I feel like I'm doing pretty well on in terms of watching those kind of rise in value. We have some theme decks. There are two, you guys might not be able to see this, but there are two Legend Maker theme decks right there. These two guys right here. 150. Those are really good prices for sealed mint condition theme decks. There's so many good deals happening in this hobby right now. There's Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Undaunted theme decks. I'm just trying to, these are less important, but I really like them. There's the Heart Gold Silver Umbreon theme one, and then the Espeon theme one. These come with sealed booster packs, by the way. So they usually go for a little bit more, and it looks like they each went for 200 plus. The Espeon was right over 200, and the Umbreon one was at 255 for this one right here. And then we're all over the place. We're gonna jump to Sun and Moon. The tag team, the team up, Latios, the Lovebirds. This auction was by Trust Pro Cards. And I was putting a bid in on this auction because I actually am selling my Latios PSA 9. I would rather get the card in a PSA 10. It feels like it's probably one of the most epic modern alt arts out there. Definitely a card that I think you would want in a PSA 10. And it ended right where I would be comfortable putting a bid in on it. So Latios, that alt art looks absolutely stunning. As you can see, it sold for $2,200, which I think was a pretty good price for a PSA 10. I definitely would have been down to pay that price for a PSA 10. I'm hoping that I'll get $700 or $800 for my 9, and I could roll that into a 10 at some point. At this point, I might be selling this stuff to go towards the house. But yeah, I'm probably going to be listing a couple bigger auctions soon, guys. So keep a lookout for that. I'm not saying I'm selling my collection off, but it's something that I don't really have much choice on, and I feel like I'm gonna have to make a move there. Okay. Gold Star PSA 9 Mewtwo. I picked this card up for $17.60. Not long ago, it sold by Slab Sharks in auction for $26.50 CAD, which is Canadian, which is the equivalent of $19.28 USD. So I feel, again, all the Gold Stars seem to be creeping up. You know, it's stable. It's long-term, slow growth, but it's very stable. And because the pops are so low, I only see that growth continuing. But again, modern alt arts and SIRs, I'm sure, will grow a lot more. I'm not 100% on that because there are a lot of them out there, but I think a lot of the focus is on modern. So we're going to see those cards going up in value. Some Gym Heroes decks here. There's some Gym Heroes decks. So the Erica and a Legend Maker deck. So there's a couple theme decks right here, guys. I'll break it down for you. These two sold for around 150, 140. These are the Lieutenant Surge theme decks. I'm not sure how clear that is, but these are the Lieutenant Surge theme decks. Those are worth around 200, I feel like. So whoever bought those 150, 140, they did good. The Erica went for 170, which isn't a crazy good deal. And then another Legend Maker Golem theme deck for $60. That's a really good price on a 20-year-old vintage theme deck. You know what I'm saying? Like these decks are old and they should be worth more than that. So I think whoever got that was a good deal. Let's scroll down over here. This was June 8th, so this was about a week ago. Not 100%, not 100% current, but I've been seeing Blaziken VMAX in the $500 area. It was nice to see a difference in price. This is a really big profile, collect goods. They have a ton of feedback. This went for $460. It was really, really well centered. Like, this is a strong PSA 10, no whitening on the back. Two of my friends, we have a group chat, and there's this thing they say, ABB, all blue baby, or all blue back. I don't know. Anyways, this is an ABB. This is an all blue back. Perfectly centered, all blue back. This is a beautiful Blaziken. Definitely a card that I would want to get my hands on still. PSA 10, $460. So that's honestly not terrible. It's a little bit less than what they've been going for currently. And I'm about to go ahead and look up alt art sales here and just pull up some of the recent sales, because now we're getting into some older stuff. Okay, so let's go PSA 10 alt art. PSA 10 alt art. Now let's go sort. Can I'm not used to more filters. Sold items. There we go. Completed items, sold items. Here we go. Okay. Oh, we were just talking about the Scarlet Violet Miradon, and there was a bundle for a PSA 9 and a PSA 10 for $94. There was one that just sold for $120 recently. Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun, guys. This is actually going to be a lot of fun. Okay, now I've got this pulled up properly. Let's turn this around. Okay. So the Arceus, Sword and Shield Arceus, Brilliant Stars, PSA 10, that one went for $105 right there. We've got the Miradon at $120 below that. We've got the Duraludon V from Evolving Skies, PSA 10. That one went for $62.70 right there. Let's see if we can back that up. It's having kind of a hard time focusing on it. PSA 10 Garchomp V from Astral Radiance. I love this Garchomp, by the way. This Garchomp is phenomenal. Now, technically, we should be on like 130 points so we can see the actual sales data. Because it does show us that it was sold, but it was probably a best offer that was accepted. But yeah, that says 120 right there. PSA 10 Umbreon went for $1,300, which I feel like it was a lot higher than that on some recent sales. The Zeraora V-Star, I'm going to be looking primarily at auctions here, actually, because the auctions are going to be more truthful on what we're looking at. Yeah, I'm going to avoid the buy it now and best offers, because I feel like those are, even though that is the vast majority, man, this is the vast majority that I'm seeing. on these. I'm not seeing a lot of auctions, and this might be because alt arts, SIRs might be clearing out. Yes? A burger? You just pop a patty in the air fryer for like 13 minutes at 400 degrees. Yeah. I can make it myself though. You don't have to do it. Okay. Okay, here we go. Nope, that's Japanese. You know what? Wow, a lot of Japanese auctions. Wow, yeah, it's crazy when you're looking over this, how much stuff there is. There's a lot of solds coming up for Japanese cards. Maybe people are buying into Japanese heavily right now because it's really good value. Okay. Okay, guys, bear with me. Because these are going to be the most recents. That's why there's going to be a lot that I have to sift through here. But I just put in a general PSA 10 alt arts. So PSA 10 Lugia from Silver Tempest sold at 410, which seems like it's a pretty high price right there for the Lugia. We had the Umbreon V from Evolving Skies, which got pumped up heavily recently. $310 for the Umbreon V and PSA 10. Here we go, and I'm really trying to focus mainly on English if you haven't noticed that. Leafeon VMAX, which I picked these all up. I picked all the last alt arts I needed at regionals for half the prices that they're selling for here. Granted, they were raw, but a lot of them have a good chance at probably hitting a PSA 10. Leafeon VMAX Evolving Skies, $390 for this PSA 10. That was a pretty big one right there. Let's see. And you know what? Let me see if I can adjust. My computer is getting low. Okay, let's put that back over. Okay, Japanese. Okay, this is a good one. Celebi from Fusion Strike. The Celebi from Fusion Strike, PSA 10, $157. I feel like that's pretty good for Celebi. Celebi was like a $20 raw card for the longest time. We do have a buy it now. I wonder if the buy it nows that aren't struck out are the ones that a deal was made on. I wonder. Yeah, I'm thinking that's the case. Okay, another really fun one. Fusion Strike Mew V. Again, this was like a $20 raw card for the longest time. $130 PSA 10. That Mew V is one of my favorite artworks. I'm a big fan. I think a lot of people right now are shifting focus to the Vs. A lot of people feel like the Vs are better. I personally like the Vs a lot more than the VMAXs because the VMAXs are just like, I just hate VMAX clouds. Oh, wow. Evolving Skies, dude. Alt arts are just going nuts right now. What in the world? Should you be paying these prices? I don't know. I don't think so. But PSA 10 Dragonite V alt art Evolving Skies, $300. You can see, let's see if it'll zoom in right there. We see that guy went for $300 right there. That is a whopping price tag. Rayquaza V, PSA 10. That was just for the V. Again, that was like a $60 to $80 card raw for the longest time. $265. With the PSA 10 VMAX right underneath it, more than double that, $560, which I feel like that's pretty good for the Rayquaza VMAX. I feel like the Rayquaza VMAX is probably worth more, around like $600 or $700 in a PSA 10. But here's those two auctions right there. Whoa, focus in. Okay. And, you know, in the future, I might not be all over the place, but I do like looking at all these auctions. Beedrill V, and I know this is more Sword and Shield. We will jump into Scarlet and Violet here shortly. I know we're really racking up on time here. Beedrill V, but I know I haven't done a video in a minute, so this will be a long ranty. Y'all can just play this in the background. The Beedrill V from Astral Radiance, one of my favorite Astral Radiance cards. If not, maybe my favorite Astral Radiance alt art. I think it's my favorite Astral Radiance alt art. I think I like it more than the Machamp. Beedrill V with a pink graded guard. That thing would smack. Speaking of, well, yeah, and we'll do a mystery mail day probably tomorrow. I don't have much to go over, but there's some stuff that I picked up. Beedrill V, Astral Radiance PSA 10, 117. The Urshifu V, and here I'm just gonna list off some last ones before we switch off to Scarlet Violet. The Urshifu V from Battle Styles, $47 in PSA 10. That's pretty good. PSA 10 Sandaconda. This is the cheapest alt art maybe in Sword and Shield. $36 for PSA 10. Metacham V Evolving Skies. Another cheap alt art. $43 in PSA 10. What a deal. PSA 10 Silver Tempest. Lugia V $394. PSA 10 Giratina V-Star from Crown Zenith. This one's actually shocking. $265 for the Crown Zenith Gold Giratina card. I will show this one real quick. We haven't talked about any of the Crown Zenith Gold cards. Another Dragonite V that went for $300. A Machamp PSA 10 $275 from Astral. Umbreon $1250 that sold just the other day. So $1250 is probably pretty good in this market. Again, these prices are crazy. Okay, PSA 10 Rayquaza VMAX 610. That seems about right. That one was really well centered. Here we go. PSA 10 Brilliant Stars Charizard V full art, alternate art. $300. Seems about right. The Urshifu VMAX from Battle Styles, one of the better. You guys know I bought a ton of Battle Styles sealed. That card is $133 PSA 10. Really like some of these trainer galleries. This is the trainer gallery 14 from Silver Tempest with the Blaziken, who I love. Blaziken TG, that went for $65. Some of the trainer galleries are really good. The ones that have the texturing, I like a lot. This is a big one. This one's grown on me a ton. The Empoleon V from Battle Styles at $99 for a PSA 10. That's a deal, guys. That's a deal. For some of these less hyped alt arts are deals, man. I love these. Umbreon V, PSA 10, $290. Machamp V, PSA 10, $270. Zapdos V, Chilling Rain. The Zapdos running up the hill. That one went for $107. Unified Minds, Slowpoke Psyduck for my Slowpoke Psyduck fans. That went for $183. I think a lot of focus shifted from Sun and Moon and went back to Sword and Shield, Scarlet Violet. Holy bonkers. Vaporeon VMAX from the Evolution Premium Collection. I had several copies of these cards I was picking up from my local shop, and I auctioned off for like nothing. PSA 10 $330. Wild, guys. Wild. Whatever. Okay. Dialga, PSA 10, Astral Radiance, $158. And the Noivern V from, oh no, that's Japanese. I'm not gonna look at that. Giratina, 700, PSA 10. Okay, we are going to switch over now, and I am going to put in, last one, Cosmic Eclipse, Arceus Dialga, Palkia GX. It's kind of the statuesque looking alt art. I will pull this one up real quick. The statuesque looking alt art, $570 in a PSA 10. It's good to see. Still showing a lot of love for those. Okay, let's scroll back up here, guys, and I am racing against the clock. I'm going to spend the next 2 minutes SIR, Scarlet, Violet. Okay. PSA 10, SIR, Scarlet, Violet. Let's make sure that's checked off for the solds. Yes. Okay. All right. Pokemon 151, Erica's Invitation, SIR, $81. The beautiful, gorgeous Venusaur EX 151, $160. Okay. Let's see. Gardevoir EX SIR. That's from Scarlet Violet base. $100. That's a really good price. Charizard EX SIR, $365. Those 151 SIRs are holding up really well. Several Venusaurs, 150, 160, a lot of 151. It's obvious here that people are buying a lot of 151, especially today. Another Charizard, 330, a Venusaur. That one, I'm not sure what the offer was on that one. The Parasol Lady from Paradox Rift. That was a big waifu card for Paradox Rift, $100. The Altaria from Paradox Rift, 170. I am gonna pull this one up. Really like the way this Altaria looks. Really a big fan of this card. This was a super blurry image of Altaria, but we're gonna show it anyways. Whatever. That they should have taken a better photo, but that Altaria is probably my favorite card in Paradox Rift, other than the Roaring Moon. Really like the Roaring Moon. Alakazam EX, nope, can't see what the offer was. Two more Charizards, 151, 325, 320. The Miriam from Scarlet Violet base. Scarlet Violet base, can we just say Scarlet Violet base is actually amazing, okay? Tons of SIRs, Miriam, Corridon, Miradon, it's fantastic. All right, God, I love that Miradon EX. And I'm telling you, that auction, $94 for the PSA 10 and a PSA 9. That was really good. It just goes to show, if I would have not auctioned off a lot of the trainer galleries, alt arts, SIRs that I was picking up from my local shops and then auctioning them for like nothing, it just goes to show those could have picked up in value a lot had I just kept them. But it is what it is. Giovanni's Charisma, 57 in a PSA 10. Man. Here we got a Blastoise, 44 bids, Australia. Pokemon 151. Blastoise PSA 10, 188. It's definitely getting up there. We had a PSA 10. Haven't seen many of these. PSA 10 Penny SIR Waifu Trainer, $31. That was cheap for an SIR. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of Scarlet Violet base here getting sold. Probably why those are so cheap. Miradon EX PSA 10, $80. Best offer accepted, which means they paid less than $80 for it in a PSA 10. Wow, that might be one of the higher sales I've seen. Two Charizard sales at $364 for 151. Zapdos, $140 for Zapdos. Venusaur is just chilling at 150, 160. Paldean Fates Penny with the EV backpack and the Pokeball. That one is best offers accepted. So those were below 60. So much 151. Where is everything else? It just goes to show that there's very little other options for Scarlet Violet SIRs from everything else. Paldean Fates Iono, $80 PSA 10. That's a deal. Here we go. The Bubble Mew. I love this card. I think this card, it was really what I was going after. This and the Gardevoir, not the Charizard. I'm actually not a fan of the Charizard and Paldean Fates. I've said that to you guys many times. But this grade level collectibles auctioned this one off. The Mew EX PSA 10. That one went for $270. $270 for that Mew EX. People grading and flipping right now are making a killing. That Mew EX is beautiful, but man, $270. Who's buying these cards? Okay. I'm seeing so much Scarlet Violet base, guys. Literally the last 3 pages have just been Scarlet Violet base and 151. It really goes to show what's being graded and what's selling the most on the market right now. Here we have an Obsidian Flames Charizard. I pulled this one like 4 ETBs in. So that was pretty spectacular. We got the Obsidian Flames Charizard. I don't know if this one's gonna age well. I really don't like the Terra Crown on its head, but yeah, that one went for $225, which I think is about right for that card. Here we go. Roaring Moon, Paradox Rift. This guy is sick. I love this card. This card is definitely a chase. This and the Altaria. And the Garchomp is pretty cool. Paradox Rift is pretty loaded, honestly. Roaring Moon. I'm not going to go crazy for these modern sets because they're still super modern to me, but like there's clearly hype behind it, a lot of hype and a lot of attention, and I think that attention is going to either focus into the new generation and these cards are going to start dropping a little bit in value before they rise again, or they're just going to keep rising. I just don't see how that's sustainable. Yeah, Roaring Moon, 150 in a PSA 10. That's really good, honestly. I think I paid like $80 for that card raw. And I don't think it would hit a PSA 10. Another Obsidian Flames Charizard sold by that same seller not long before for $200 flat. That's a pretty good deal on a PSA 10 Zard. Gardevoir base set, Scarlet Violet base set Gardevoir EX. A lot of these are selling and they are just sitting at 100. They're not budging above or below. More 151, Blastoise 150, Charizard 380. Great Tusk EX, best offer accepted, less than $50. They might have paid like $30-$40 for that SIR in a PSA 10. Some of these PSA 10s are just, they're not going for anything. Great Tusk, buy it now. So now okay, so I see which ones are selling at the buy it now and which ones are offered. So buy it now, Great Tusk, $40 flat. So $40 and you can get a PSA 10 SIR from base. And that, again, that was another base set. That was another base set SIR. More and more 151. Blastoise is sitting at 150. You can pick up Blastoise at like $40 raw. So I think if you can find 151 SIRs for $30-$40, I think that's an easy move, especially for those of us that are big Gen 1 boomers, Kanto fans. Finally, Paldean Fates Gardevoir EX, the shiny sprite Gardevoir EX looks dope. This card looks dope with a Wooper, with the big mouth and eyes open in the background. That guy went for 113, which is awesome. What a beautiful card. Such a beautiful artwork, such a beautiful card. Don't see a lot of those getting sold. Again, another Scarlet Violet SIR, a base set SIR. Yeah, is that a base set SIR? I think it Scarlet Violet 1, yeah. So that $34 for PSA 10. Like some of these PSA 10s are just they're not worth anything. That's a fast food stop. Wow, Squirtle. I haven't seen a lot of these illustrations. I've been so many SIRs. Squirtle, PSA 10, $110. Amazing. Let's see. The Jack from Scarlet Violet. The Jack SIR, $20 for a PSA 10 SIR. This is craziness. Paldean Fates, Bubble Mew, $260. We're seeing the same prices for all the 151 cards. Altaria EX PSA 10 Paradox Rift, $90 for a PSA 10. Dude, like these are like some of these modern cards are just so much fun to buy in PSA 10. But again, these prices being so low, this is a big reason why I just bindered a lot of these cards. Corridon PSA 10 Scarlet Violet base, $50 for that PSA 10. That's wild. Iron Treads PSA 10, $35. That didn't go for anything in PSA 10. The Chen Pao EX, Paldea Evolved, which a lot of people have been talking about, $80 in a PSA 10. Corridon, $36, PSA 10. Bro, there are deals to be had. The Golden Go Paradox Rift, SIR, $50. There we go. Tinkaton, Paldea Evolved, $50, PSA 10. These prices, man, are cheap. These prices are super cheap. I'm gonna go over another page. It's just pages of, okay, Paldean Fates Charizard, $300. It's a lot of the same stuff that we're seeing being sold recently. A lot of people buying 151, guys. If 151 is not the most popular set in Scarlet Violet, I don't know what is, because I'm just seeing so much 151 being sold and maintaining these prices. You would think with all the 151 out there, these prices would be falling. Anyways, that's pretty much that's pretty much all I got for you guys. Other than that, there was a private sale on Instagram that I thought was a pretty big deal. Someone sold their entire PSA 9 Gold Star set, and it was bought up within like minutes of it getting sent to me. There were some big players, some of these bigger private buyers, you can't compete with these guys. They jump on this stuff immediately after it's posted for sale, and everything just gets swallowed up. So that was a pretty big deal. And then I'm sorry I couldn't find in the beginning that PSA 10 Charizard listing, but there was a PSA 10 first edition Charizard listing. Everything looked legitimate. I've seen enough first edition Charizards online at this point that I can tell if they're real or not, and it looked 100% authentic. The seller had very low feedback, which I thought was very odd considering the fact that there's only 123 or maybe more than that now, but last I checked, there was 123 PSA 10 first edition Charizards, which I was glad I was able to find that one sale at 24,000 plus, because guys, I do feel really, really good about my latest pickup, this Charizard. I will always love this card. It will always be in my collection. Like, even if I needed the money for a house down payment to move us into a larger house, I don't think I would sell this Charizard. I would probably sell my Gold Star collection before selling this Charizard, because yeah, it just means a lot to me, and it was a long time coming. But yeah, that's I'm glad we were able to find that auction. I'm glad it went through. I'm glad it was legitimate and it was by Pro Obscene. So that's very validating for someone like me who just paid top dollar for that card, and then to see that it went for $5,000. I think it was 24.2, $5,200 more than what I paid. Very excited about that. As far as alt arts go, I tried to cover alt arts as much as I could. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll try and keep it more concise in the future. And I know you guys are probably tired of hearing about the vintage grail sales, so I'm probably going to focus more on modern sales, but you know, spice it up and throw in just a little bit of vintage in there every now and again. But I think a lot of people want to hear what the modern cards are going for. But for the most part, prices seem very stable for modern alt arts, at least for Scarlet and Violet, and that could change very soon. I think a lot of that has to do with just a massive amount of quantity that was printed for that era, this era. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace! I'll catch you on the next one.